ahead. So let's get to it.
Hello and welcome to the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Corey Harrison, and alongside co-host Irvin Ruiz. What's going on, Irvin?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Man,
a lot of crap
back.
going on in the NFL, man. A lot of stuff going on in the AFC. Oh, I think you froze. I think we're having some technical difficulties. Uh-oh.
I think I'm having some technical difficulties again.
I froze for a second. We're back.
All right, we're back. So how's everything been going? So we got a lot of things to get to, but how's everything going with you today?
Things going awesome, man. I'm ready. There's a big upset happened last night. Baltimore Ravens upset by the Miami Dolphins. And not to mention, this is the Dolphins' second consecutive upset. So maybe the Dolphins finally woke up, but obviously it's way too late, but maybe they woke up.
I think if I can take a little back to that game. So Jacoby Brissett gets hurt, and then they forced to put Tua in as an emergency quarterback, and he throws them to victory. So walk me through that and how you felt about them getting it done. You know, defensively last year, if you think about the Dolphins, they actually had a pretty solid defense last year. And for whatever reason, it hadn't came together this year. They're 2-7 currently. But take me through that game and how you felt like as far as like this upset. Like this is one of the hugest upsets in the AFC now, is wide open for anybody to take it.
Yeah, so I was watching the game, and just like that Cowboys game, I was waiting for Baltimore to bounce back and get it going, and they just couldn't find a way to do it. And I couldn't agree with John Harbaugh any more than for him to take the blame on this one. He was just outcoached. They kept running the same play, cover zero. They were blitzing him off the edges, keeping Lamar in that pocket, forcing him to throw from the pocket. And then none of his receivers could get open. So once you already have him cornered, you eliminate the leg factor, eliminate those explosive plays. You're at a huge advantage with the Ravens. And right now, as we all know, Ravens have a huge injury reserve, and Lamar's the only one carrying this team on his back. So when he has a bad game, they lose.
I mean, you know what? The Baltimore Ravens, I like what they've been doing, but they're successful only when they can get the ground game going. And if you know that their running backs has been decimated with injuries even before the season even started. So really with this team, it's Lamar or bust. If you can stop Lamar Jackson, you stop the offense. And when it comes to, the receivers and things like that, they don't really have a high elite level receiver. If you think about it, they're just guys. If you put them on any other team, they're just guys. There's no playmakers, but this team goes as Lamar goes. You stop Lamar, you stop the Ravens.
Couldn't agree with you more. And I think that Brian Flores coming in under Belichick's umbrella of all the great coaches that he's now put out there on the league and head coaching positions, that defense, look, we could talk about that defense all night. You got Xavier Howard with that pick, taking it all the way to the house. That was the turning point of that game. That defense stepped up, played lights out, held Lamar Jackson, and a lot of people are calling it basically the blueprint on the Ravens this season because of the lack of offensive weapons that they have is getting those corners. You can afford to blitz those corners from the edges because you're not going to have to worry about man-to-man coverage. Your corners, as long as your corners are good on man-to-man, you can play cover zero and just blitz Lamar all day and keep him in that pocket.
Is this the blueprint or just plain common sense? Because we've seen Lamar run the football particularly well. We know what they're going to do. It's no secret of what the Baltimore Ravens are. They're a running football team. So is this really a secret, or is it a blueprint, or is it just common sense? Because, I mean, all you have to do is stop the run. You stop their offense. I mean, they don't have anything else. I mean, obviously Lamar Jackson can throw the football, but he's a run-first quarterback. if he goes through his reads really quick, if there is nothing, he's taking off out the window.
And I agree with you in that sense. However, you do have to consider the fact that the Dolphins got some pretty good corners. You can't just play cover zero, no safeties in the back, helping people out. They were lucky that Hollywood Brown was having an off game himself. Otherwise, they could have easily gotten the deep ball threat by Hollywood just burning the corners in their cover zero coverage. So that's kind of, there's a lot of toss ups, right? Or otherwise it would just be common sense to just run that cover zero blitz on them, and everybody would be doing it. However, not everybody has the amazing corners that Miami has, and so and not everybody's going to get a break where Hollywood or Sammy Watkins just are completely shut down.
And that's another thing too. Like, this defense was great last year, and I'm gonna go as far as saying great. They got 10 wins. They looked good. It looked like they was on the upswing of thing. They got draft picks. This team looked like it was poised to take off. For whatever reason, it just hasn't happened. I think Tua has regressed. I thought that they was going to be able to move on and actually get Deshaun Watson. And also, I thought that could have been the missing piece, but for whatever reason, that deal got yanked from up under them, and it did not work. And so they're almost look like they're just stuck with Tua right now. And I use the word stuck because they could have drafted Justin Herbert, but missed the mark on that one all the way around. And I just don't understand, who scouted them. Like, I mean, Tua had this injury, and I would have been like really reluctant. I would have at least took another look at Justin Herbert, especially what he's doing over there with the LA Chargers.
And I think a lot of that time that Brian Flores spent under Bill Belichick, knowing the relationship he had with Nick Saban in Alabama, he kind of understood what Tua brought. He knew that Tua was already kind of coached in that style of that Alabama, Nick Saban, and Bill Belichick fan of offense and players and defense, the way that the whole team functions. Those two guys, Saban, Belichick, obviously run a lot of the same systems. Difference is Belichick's obviously in the NFL. And so Flores, coming up as a coach under Belichick, clearly took note of that. And I'm assuming that had to do with some of the influence in his Tua decision, was the fact that he was coming from Alabama.
Now, I mean, I liked how Tua looked pre-injury, before the hip injury. He was, lighting it up. He was doing really good. But when he had that hip injury, man, it really, really, that's going to take, because he was, not really a highly athletic quarterback. But, I mean, that's going to take, your athleticism away. And so I was really interested to see exactly what Miami was going to get in a quarterback like Tua. They moved on from Fitzpatrick, and they forced him into the starting rotation pretty early. And I was really reluctant, about that decision, because Fitzpatrick was doing good, and then they just went another direction, threw the kid in, see what he got. And I still have not seen any kind of progression. I mean, he still has injury problems. He had that in college. You hurt in college, you hurt in the pros. It doesn't get better. So hopefully Miami does get this thing turned around. But this season, as right now, they're 2-7. I don't look for them to make any noise in the AFC.
Yeah, this season for the Miami Dolphins, it's all about just pretty much trying to develop Tua, because they're clearly, as you said, kind of stuck with him. So this season, I'm assuming they're going to stick to Tua, continue to hopefully develop him in some sense, but it's up to the coaching there to protect Tua. Do not put him in any kind of risky plays. Teach Tua right now. He's a fragile player. He needs to just, instead of trying to extend it, hey, this is already season. You're not making it to the playoffs. There's no need for you to go out there, try to perform some incredible play, some game-changing play, because at the end of the day, it's over. I hate to say it, but it's over. And so all you can do from now is try to stay healthy and continue to develop yourself. Availability is the best ability. So, and Tua's going to have to learn that. Tua's got to pay attention to what's going on with Cam Newton. Look at what injuries have done to Cam Newton, right? So Tua, There is no need for you to be trying to fling that ball in any harm's way. No need for you to be taking those tackles. Hey, pull a Tom Brady. Just duck and cover. Duck and cover. Because at the end of the day, there's no point for you to get hurt on a season that's pretty much already over.
And that's the blueprint. I mean, you take a page out of Tom Brady's book. I mean, he's only had one major injury in 22 years. You know, that was that 2008 injury, and he's pretty much been, you know, a starter, a franchise player for 22 years. You know, with the exception of that one play, and they changed the rules for the quarterback right after Brady got injured. I mean, you don't want to be the guy that end Brady's career, so they take it really soft on Brady.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So we're gonna jump around the NFL a little bit. I know you've seen the breaking news. We're gonna take a look at the Rams. What are they doing? Okay, let's start. I'm gonna take it a little ways back. They get Jalen Ramsey from the Jaguars. I'm looking like, okay, cool. They got Jalen Ramsey. They looking like they're trying to do something, but they still got Jared Goff. Then they turn around and move on from Jared Goff and get Matthew Stafford. I said, man, okay, they're doing it up. And then they get Von Miller in the same season. I said, okay, they trying to buy them a championship. Where they getting all this money? And then Odell comes available. And then he signs. Please tell me, what was your initial thoughts once this team put all those pieces together? Once you saw what they're doing, they almost have to win the Super Bowl because they're going all in. What are your thoughts?
I'm with Ryan Clark from ESPN on this one, man. I hate it. I don't like it. I don't know why. I just don't like it. And I think for me, it's because of the same reasons that everybody around the league was kind of hoping for OBJ to go to a team where he's going to put up some numbers. Go to a team where he's going to be a reliable one or two option, right? You're going into a Rams team that already has plenty of offensive weapons. And I almost feel like it's almost like he sold out because he knew he knows what's going on over there. He knows what's going on. And of course he likes, obviously he spends a lot of time over there in the off season, but think about it this way. Everybody's going to LA right now, right? All the stars, like you mentioned, Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey, everybody's trying to go play with Aaron Donald. Now Matthew Stafford's got it here in LA. He's got a chance to prove everybody who's ever doubted him wrong. But again, you got to remember, Stafford hasn't even won a playoff game. And so for me, it almost feels like OBJ just sold out. Like he just went to LA because he saw all the stars over there. He wanted to go play in SoFi. He wanted to go over there in La La Land. And so, of course, he had to go to LA. And for me, I was sold that he was going to go either the Packers or the Chiefs. I think those would have been real viable options. I think that Alan Lazard is good, but I think that OBJ is a still more explosive threat, and I still believe that he's going to grab some attention from that secondary of the opposing team. He's going to get some attention. That's just who he is. Nobody wants to get memed like your boy over there from the Cowboys when he got that one-hander on him. Nobody wants to get memed like that. So I that's why he's going to grab some eyes, going to grab some attention. I think that the Packers or even in the Chiefs system right now, as we talked about in our last show, Mecole Hardman is not the second receiver on this team. He is not dependable. He cannot get open. He has literally 50% hands. It's a coin toss anytime they throw the ball to him. So I think OBJ would have expanded that. Who doesn't want to go play with arguably the best talent to ever throw the football? And so that's why I just couldn't see it.
I mean, Stafford is no slouch. I mean, he's an elite level quarterback. I mean, if you go by his stats, okay, we can argue with that. But he can make all the throws. In this offense, Stafford looks good. This is Stafford's chance to finally prove to everyone that he belongs in the league. He belongs in the MVP conversation, and he's ready for the big stage. He's been in the league for a very long time, but he hasn't done anything. I mean, it's the Lions. The Lions are the Lions. I mean, they had Megatron, they had Barry Sanders, I mean, they're just wasteful with talented players. You know, they're the Lions. I mean, that's all I think I can say about that. So getting with the Rams, you know, having that high power offense, having you know, Sean McVay to be able to be the head coach and have the genius that he has. I mean, like, I think that this team could possibly do something. I'm not ready to call them the favorites yet. I mean, I'm not that type of person, you know, to look at a bunch of names and say that, hey, they're, I mean, because you could be what I said earlier today, and I spoke to some people today about that move. They may have done too many moves, and that could have messed up chemistry. You know, once you add somebody in like Odell, he's obviously gonna want to get some touches. What's they gonna do with Cooper Kupp that's having a remarkable season? Robert Woods, that's having a decent year. You know, you don't want to, you know, add too many stuff in there. It's, you know, you could add something to something like something that's really good, and then it can turn into really bad just because you added one extra ingredient.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that there's been a lot of moves there in LA, obviously bringing in some big names, and the good thing about LA though is that Stafford at the moment seems kind of unfazed by the OBJ thing. He was just kind of like in the post after the trade happened and everything was finalized. When his interview afterwards, he was like very calm, very poised about it. He didn't seem to be very phased by OBJ coming, and maybe that's just the message he's trying to send to OBJ coming to LA. It's like, hey man, this is I'm gonna choose if I'm gonna throw that ball to you once a game, twice a game, or 10 times a game. I'm the one that's making that decision. You're not gonna just come over here and just assume that because we're this high explosive powered offense, I'm just gonna throw you the ball and feed you to get your numbers up. And I think that at the end of the day, what the Rams are looking for from OBJ is come playoff time, who's going to be the person that gets open in those key third down moments? Who's going to be the person that gets open in those key fourth down moments? Who can score? That is ultimately what I believe the Rams are looking forward to from this investment that they made into OBJ. And at this point, like you mentioned before, in the eyes of almost every NFL fan, it's either Super Bowl or bust for the Rams. Because once all the smoke and all the sparkly lights come down from all the great stars you have and everything, you got to face the salary cap. So, and these players, they're not going to just want to play for you for cheap. So, again, it's Super Bowl or bust for me on the Rams. And the crazy part about it is, like you said, is I'm not even ready to call them the biggest threat in the NFC.
Yep. And that's exactly what, you know, reason why, because I mean, it's any given Sunday. We've seen top teams, you know, last week, you know, get upset. You see the Bills got beat by the Jags, you know, like what? The Cowboys got beat by the Broncos, your Saints, the Falcons. Just last night, you seen Miami get the win over a good Ravens team. I mean, you know, it's any given Sunday. You know, and I'm not ready to call anybody the favorites. Nobody's really running away with anything right now because you seen Arizona, they got exposed by Green Bay. I mean, it's any given Sunday. So yeah, they look good. You know, they look good. I'm really want to see how everything, you know, shakes out at the end of the season, see who's gonna be where. But I'm not sold. I'm not ready to put all my chips to the table for the Rams right now. I mean, just because they got a bunch of names, a bunch of guys, they're trying to, you know, they're trying to be like the Lakers. They trying to be like the Dodgers. They're trying to, you know, have all this ready-made talent. They're not trying to develop nobody. You know, or they want proven guys because they trying to win right now. There's not no next season. We're not trying to see, you know, a couple seasons down the road. They moved on from Jared Goff. They got rid of Todd Gurley before that. They're trying to win right now, and they're not trying to wait for try to develop anybody or anything like that. They want guys that's already battle tested, that's already proven in this league, so they can get over the hump.
And you know, and one of the things that I mean, as great of a coach as Sean McVay is, let's just remember how many points did his team score when he went to the Super Bowl?
Was it like 9 or something like that?
I'm pretty sure they held them to single digits in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was.
So and that was the season when they went into Arrowhead and took down the Chiefs in that epic shootout game. So they were still considered like a high scoring offense. They still had Aaron Donald. They had Goff. They had Gurley at the time. Cooper Kupp was there. Woods was there. So I struggle to understand the huge upgrade that everybody's giving the Rams on this edge of being the top leader in the NFC. Because at the end of the day, Sean McVay has had stars before on this Rams team to go over there and prove that he can do it.
Absolutely.
So again, at the end of the day, Sean McVay is going to be the one that's going to look like the biggest clown of them all if at the end of everything they didn't win a Super Bowl. Or if they go and wet the bed. I think it'd be even worse if they went to the Super Bowl and then wet the bed. And I'm not just saying that because that season was the season where that bad call on the Saints. Arguably, it's probably why they went to the Super Bowl. Also, we would have seen some Saints and some Patriots that year. But hey, I'm just saying, nobody likes it when that team that nobody liked in the first place to go to the Super Bowl goes to the Super Bowl and then they wet the bed.
Right.
Because then it's like, man, the other team would have given them more of a fight.
Right. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean, that's happened to me so many times where I picked a team where I knew the team that they beat would have been a lot better and it would have been a lot more interesting. And then the team that beat a team and got to the big dance, they ended up laying an egg and not really producing what you think the other team that they beat would have done had they been in that position, had they took care of business in the previous game. So it wouldn't even got to that point. So I definitely agree with you on that. And I definitely would like to see, I just want a competitive season and then going into the playoffs. I just want everybody to compete. And I don't want to see like lopsided victories. I want to see, ball games that are close where, they're decided in overtime or anything, something like that. I want these to be like drag out, knockout games where, I'm on the edge of my seat and I don't know what's going to happen. Like right now, going into our next topic, we're going to talk about the best team in the AFC. Now, these are one of the topics that you particularly want to cover and want to talk about, but we're going to go over what's going on in the AFC. We're going to start in the East first. So right now, you got the Bills holding on to the top spot for dear life because they lost the game. So right now, they're 5-3. But right on their heels, you got the Patriots. And, of course, the Dolphins. I mean, we're not looking for the Dolphins or the Jets in that division to do anything. So we're not even going to even add them. But that's the AFC East. Then you look at the West, AFC West. You got the 5-3 Chargers, which is the same record as the Bills in the other division. The Raiders are the same record. They got the same record, but they're on a one-game losing streak. You also got the Chiefs. The Chiefs are having one of the worst seasons this year, but they're still hanging around at 5-4. Then with the win with the Broncos and the Cowboys, with the Broncos beating the Cowboys and defeating the Cowboys, they're back in the mix in the AFC West. So the AFC West is looking really tight with the Chiefs and the Broncos with the same exact record, both of them on 2-game winning streaks. Then you look at the North with the Ravens taking the loss, the Steelers are back in the mix. That also puts the Browns in the mix as well at 5-4. The Steelers are 5-3. Bengals are still hanging around with the 2-game losing streak because they started off hot, but with losses from the Browns and the Jets, they're on a 2-game losing streak, but they're 5-4. So the North is tight. And you go down to the South where the Titans have a commanding lead. They're 7-2. You have the Colts right there. They're still in it at 4-5 because the division is kind of weak. But then you look at the Jags and the Texans in that division, and they're really not going to do anything either. So, what do you think? Who's coming out?
And this has been the hardest decision for me as well, is trying to see who's coming out of the AFC. And obviously, nobody knows what's going on with the Bills. 2 back-to-back losses to under 500 teams. What's going on with the Bills, man? And what's funny is it seems like this Bills team is doing what the Chiefs are doing now, because this high-powered Bills offense, what's going on with Sanders? What's going on with Singletary? What's going on with Cole Beasley? What's going on with Diggs? Where are they at? Where have they been? Obviously, Josh Allen hasn't performed the greatest in the last 2 games either. And again, it's because these teams that have these crazy passing offenses, they get caught up in the pass, and all they want to do is pass and pass and pass and pass. So then eventually any smart NFL defensive coordinator would pick up on that and just completely say, why the hell am I going to load the box? They're not running it. They got freaking Josh Allen on the other side slinging it all game. Same thing with the Chiefs. Why am I gonna even focus on covering the box if Mahomes is just gonna sling it all game? I can afford to give up the early 10, maybe 10, if that, 10-yard, 8-yard gains. Like, who cares? They're gonna eventually just give up on it and just sling it again. So it's very obvious that this league is starting to adapt to these offensive passing threat teams. They have to adjust. They have to rely on the run. And what's crazy is there's only one team out there that seems to always remember that they have that run in their back pocket, and that is your Dallas Cowboys.
Absolutely.
Your Dallas Cowboys.
Absolutely.
And I'll let you get to it because I'm sure you're excited to talk about it. But your Dallas Cowboys are the team in offense where I think that gives them the biggest advantage over the Rams, over arguably the Cardinals, the Bucks, and the Packers. Because at the end of the day, Dallas can get shut down passing-wise, that they have Zeke and they have Pollard and they have that amazing offensive line that once it's healthy towards the end, towards the playoffs, that's going to be, in my opinion, the biggest game changers. As long as the Cowboys can remain who they are right now and count on knowing that, okay, we're going to run the ball first. We're going to establish the run. We're going to go out there and we're going to average at least 5 or 6 yards per carry. We're going to start beating the hell out of the defensive line. And then when we got them tired, we're going to start slinging it. And if we run into a defensive coordinator like Bill Belichick, obviously he's the head coach, but he runs the defense. Once they run into somebody who said, okay, we're going to stop the run completely. We're going to load that box. We're going to make Dak throw it. That's where you got Cooper. You got CeeDee. You got Gallup back. You got little Cedric Wilson over there balling. Like, all those guys out there can all those weapons make a difference. And that's why I think offensively, there's a reason why they're the number one offense in the NFL right now. Is because they have defenses cannot just say, we're going to just, okay, Dak is just going to sling it because he has these receivers. Now, Denver was a fluke. I'm gonna just call it. Okay, I'm gonna call it. I hope that your team doesn't let me down on this one this upcoming week. But I'm gonna say Denver was a fluke. Now the defense, on the other hand, that's where they depend on that offense to be out there, to be grounding and pounding. They need the time of possession so that this defense can breathe. Obviously, the defense hasn't been used to playing these long minutes because they've been being kept off the field by the amazing offense. So as long as the defense can tighten up, when you guys get your great pass rushers in Lawrence and in Gregory back. Sorry about the loss. And once we get that defense back, you're going to be rolling. Micah Parsons is there. Diggs, I know he's smart enough to make the adjustment, man. Stop biting on the double move. Stop going for the picks. The streak is over. The record thing is done. It's time to focus up on the real big picture here. Stop giving up the big plays. You don't need to pick every game anymore. It's about right now trying to claim first seed so that you can get a bye.
Then you said a mouthful, and I wasn't even going to talk about my Cowboys. But since you brought them up, let's talk about my Cowboys. Now, watching that game against the Denver Broncos, they got 191 yards rushing on this defense. Now, this defense, even though with the picks, they've been beating teams and holding teams, to secure the win and things like that. But this defense got exposed. I already knew that we had issues on the defensive side of the ball. They just been covered up. We got back end issues. We got issues when it comes to stopping the run. And we got exposed by Denver. Now, Javonte Williams, he carried the ball 17 times. He had 111 yards by himself. He didn't score any touchdowns, but then Melvin Gordon had 80. Teddy Bridgewater, 19 to 28 for 249 yards. He was lights out. He had one touchdown for 249 yards. And then he was spreading the football. Jerry Jeudy got in there. Tim Patrick, Kendall Hinton. They all contribute to this win. They got after Dak. He never looked comfortable. And we got cute with the record, like I said before. We got cute with the record, and we got punched in the mouth by a really mediocre team that wasn't that great. They made us look pathetic. Now we're looking at this Atlanta game. They're playing pretty well. Their rookie tight end Kyle Pitts. He's that dude. I wanted Kyle Pitts. I wanted the Dallas Cowboys to draft Kyle Pitts, despite our all the weaponry we got on the offense side of the ball. I was like, man, let him drop. I would love to have Kyle Pitts because he a dog. I would love to have Kyle Pitts, but we didn't get him. Hey. So we got Kendrick Henderson on here, and he's saying he never said who's the best team in the AFC. Oh, you never said who's your best team in the AFC was.
Oh, my fault. Sorry, I got carried away with the NFC one a little bit.
I know you said.
Yeah, so my pick for the AFC is I'm gonna stick to the Chiefs, man. I think they're gonna rough it out. I know it's bold. I know it's crazy. Everybody's gonna think I'm a psychopath who just needs to snap out of the Chiefs coma, right? But this is what's going on right now is something that doesn't happen very, very often to a team that just is on such a hot streak like they've been, and all of a sudden for Patrick Mahomes and those guys to get shut down. But I go back to the same thing, and that's why I don't the law. Yeah, I know, but man, when you look at a talent like Patrick Mahomes has put on, when you look at what everything he's done so far, it's just hard, man. It's hard. And even though a lot of the big, broadcasters out there, analysts and everything, you got to pick up on it. A lot of them are naming these teams, but they always say, but the Chiefs. Everybody's got the Chiefs in their back pocket because nobody is ready to process what's going on right now. Nobody was ready for it. It seems like everybody just has the Chiefs in their back pocket, and I'm just going to be the one to just pull it out. If they beat the Raiders tonight, I think if they beat the Raiders, this Sunday night, they beat the Raiders, I think that's the game they need. That's the game that could potentially flip the switch in their season.
I'm gonna they're gonna crucify me. They're gonna call for the end of my show. But I'm gonna go a totally different direction. I'm gonna go with somebody that nobody's talking about, that they've been pretty much written off. The New England Patriots. I'm telling you, it's coming together defensively, offensively.
Mac and cheese.
I can see it coming. The pieces that they picked up in the offseason, they're starting to pay dividends. I know right now but they're right there in the mix. The New England Patriots. That's who I'm keeping my eye on. I'm not saying that they're gonna, but I'm thinking that they're gonna make some noise. What do you think about the Patriots?
Hey man, I'm with you, but this upcoming game against the Browns is huge.
I think they
Both
got that in
teams,
the back pocket.
man, both teams is basically they're fighting to stay alive, man. Both of these teams are going into this game trying to stay alive
They
because
have
at
no
the end
Nick
of the
Chubb,
day,
no Chubb.
no trouble. But man, they got that offensive line. It seems that for whatever reason, the Browns can work without OBJ being there. Whatever happened, I don't know what happens to Baker Mayfield when OBJ isn't on the field, but all of a sudden, my dude just starts dropping dimes.
See, my man says they're flying under the
Yeah,
radar. They're
they
flying under
are.
the radar.
No, and like I said, they are, man, and not to mention with the return of all their defensive backs that were hurt or that were excused last year for COVID, they're back now. They're obviously making a huge impact. You got exactly what you wanted out of Mac Jones. You got exactly what you wanted out of Mac Jones. He's doing everything that Belichick wants a good quarterback to do: protect the football, make smart decisions, analyze the scenario you're in, not to force anything that isn't there, and ultimately win because you were not the ones that caused turnovers and killed yourself.
Belichick is actually letting him push the ball down the field. He's actually letting him quarterback.
To an extent, he got like he had like 100 and something yards last game against the Panthers. So
Hey, I'll take it. I mean, did they win?
yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. It's a very balanced Belichick team. Everybody's playing to their strengths. It's what
Yeah.
he's known for. It's a team that's just well balanced because everybody. Matthew Judon is having a crazy season. The Ravens are probably like, where the hell was this Judon when you were here, man?
Hey, man, he balling out.
He's changing games, man. He's setting himself up as a leader in that defense. He's out there. Mac Jones, I mean, what can you say about him? Dirty player or just boring player, right? So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I think the Patriots are a solid team. I think that this game is going to be huge. This game this Sunday they have against the Browns is going to be a huge statement game for them. If they lose, however, they have to go see Josh Allen. They have to go visit Josh Allen.
Man,
And so
Josh Allen, I'm falling off the bandwagon.
yeah, and I mean,
After getting beat by the Jags, I mean, I'm like teetering on Josh Allen right now.
yeah, but you know what? That's the beauty about this season, Corey, is that this season is every game is a big game, man. Every game, these teams are coming out and competing at such high levels. You never know what could happen. I get look at how many upsets have been going down the last couple weeks. This league is crazy. It's one of the most. It's one of. I gotta say, from a fan perspective, it's one of the most entertaining league like seasons that I've ever seen. It's just you never know what could happen. Neither division, even though the Cardinals have only lost one, for some reason we just can't trust the Cardinals, right? We just can't. We're not ready to just vote them the NFC favorite yet. It's just that it's such a well balanced and crazy season that we're witnessing, and I for one am having a great time watching.
Yeah, it's been a joy to watch, but like I said, man, look out for them New England Patriots. I do not count out the hoodie. I'm trying to tell you, man. Like, so we're going to the last few topics. We're gonna go to the NBA. One topic you want to talk about the first round draft pick, Kate Cunningham. What are your thoughts on Cade so far? Obviously he played for the Pistons, and the Pistons have not been good. And I'm not trying to, be like negative or anything like that, but they got the first round draft pick, first pick for a reason. He's a 6'8" point guard / shooting guard. And he's played a few games. We've seen some flashes. What do you think? They got to win against Jalen Green, one of his biggest rivals against the Rockets tonight. They kind of went back and forth. But what do you think about his ceiling, and what do you think about this pick overall? And will he stay in Detroit?
No, and I'm gonna base it off. He called LeBron the goat, and so we're gonna go ahead and classify him as a new era player, and we're gonna go ahead and say that he's going to basically see what his options are eventually. Right? He's gonna continue to develop himself and work hard. The kid seems like he's working really really hard. He's obviously coming off of an injury to his ankle, and I'm sure that's affecting part of his game. We saw some flashes during the summer league. He was doing okay. He had a great summer league. So there's something there, right? But it's up to Detroit to develop it, and it's up to him to realize to really. Obviously, right now it's his rookie season, so it's up to him for the next couple of years. I would say the next 3 or 4 years to really see what the organization's doing for him, what kind of coaching, where his development is going before he tries to do what every player does in the new era, and that's ultimately try to go to some place that isn't just going to waste their talent. So I think that he's right now dealing with the ankle injury. He's not performing to what everybody wants. Everybody's really ready to call him a bust already. I mean, look, man, if you go look and see what was Kobe's first season like.
Kobe's first season was, they didn't play Kobe like that. He didn't start at the box. I mean, he was coming behind.
But it was a different time, right? The league was a little different. There was less of that of the three wars, right? Now everybody has to shoot threes. But obviously he came in a different time. Kobe averaged 7.6 points per game, right? I'm not trying, obviously the times were different and things were different, but from a perspective, right? Right now, Cade's averaging 10.5 points per game, which isn't horrible. You could go back and even look at Paul George. I know there's levels to this thing, right? So depending on how high your scale is for Cade Cunningham, what you expect him to be, do you expect him to be kind of like a Paul George, Mitchell, Jimmy Butler level, or do you expect him to be on the high end, like who's the best player in the NBA right now tier, right? And so it just depends on where you classify him based on what he came out of college, his stats out of college, how he's performing right now compared to some of the greats, and ultimately how high is the ceiling that everybody's putting over him? How high is that ceiling? Do we expect him to be at the very, very top, competing eventually to be one of the best players in the NBA? Or do we see him as a star player in the NBA?
Well, I mean, coming into the NBA, we know that he can score the basketball. He's a 3-level scorer, put the ball on the floor, get to the basket. He also can pass. Looking at his last game, the last game he had was probably the best game. And I'm pulling for Cade because Cade is from Arlington, Texas. Cade is from the crib.
Oh yeah.
So we pulling for Cade because he's from Arlington. He's Arlington's right down the street from us.
Oh yeah, and, all the way. DFW, baby. Yep.
I want him to do well. The last game he played was a couple of days ago. I believe it was like Wednesday or Thursday. He played the Rockets, and he scored 20 points. He was 8 of 4 from 3. He had 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals and 1 block. So he bested his rival Jalen Green out there in Houston, and they're chirping, they're talking, and I like stuff like that. I mean, the young guys, the league is different, and I just want to see. I'm not gonna put no heavy expectations on him or anything like that. Let's just see it develop. Let's see how he's gonna be. But I mean, if I'm him, like Detroit, like, man, the football team is. And the basketball hasn't been, it's. I mean, I don't want to talk down or anything like that. I'm not a Pistons fan, I'm not a Lions fan, but man, I hardly don't watch Detroit basketball, football at all. Detroit sports, nothing. But I'm pulling for Cade though. I mean, I like what he's made of. I've heard a few interviews. Got a good head on his shoulder. I had an opportunity to speak to his trainer before, and I just like what they're doing. They're homegrown, man, and I want them to do well. Just for Cade, because I like Cade, man. I just think he's made the right stuff. Obviously I'm a Laker fan I'm a Laker fan.
Mm-hmm.
I can't shake it, man. I've been a Laker fan ever since I was a freshman in high school. And that's over 20 something years, man. I've just grown to like them. Even before that, I was watching Michael Jordan do his thing when I was younger, but once I started watching those Lakers play and watching those teams, play and how Kobe was built and, how people was trying to, talk about him, about how he was shooting. But I like the fact that he was fearless. That was my biggest thing, that people was talking and, talking down on him. But I just like the fact that he was an 18-year-old kid coming into the NBA against men. Actually, I take that back. When Kobe signed his first contract, he was actually 17. His parents had to sign his actual first official contract, and then the rest was history, man. Like, shout out to the Lakers for drafting him, trading Charlotte for Vlade Divac, and actually trading to get a 17-year-old rookie out of high school that hasn't proven anything, but somebody saw something in him and took a chance, and they created a dynasty. He won 5 championships and arguably one of the best basketball players of all time. And he's my GOAT. And
I got you in your feels already, huh? Got you in your Kobe feels.
Yeah, I mean, I love Kobe, man. Like, I'm a Kobe guy, bro.
Where those shoes at, man?
Like,
Where they at? I know you got the collection. I know.
Got a whole collection of Kobe's, man. Like, if I go out there and hoop, I gotta be in a pair of Kobe's, man. Like,
oh yeah,
that's
how you say, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta wear the Kobe's, right?
Yeah, I gotta have fresh Kobe's on, man. But it's really hard to find some Kobe's these days, man. Like, if you look at the NBA, a lot of the guys are wearing Kobe's now. And it's been like really scarce to find them, because that the family pulled him from Nike, so they're kind of doing their own thing now. They haven't really came out with no new shoes or nothing. So the only shoes that are in production right now are going to be the shoes that he already had before the deal expired.
Did you get those green ones? Those new ones?
No, I didn't. Yeah, man. Shout out to Jerry West.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, man, we got to get you those green ones, man. We got to find them for you. You got to add those to the collection, man.
They're the Grinches, bro. I've always wanted a pair of those ever since Kobe wore them the first time. I did get the all red ones that he wore. It was a Christmas edition at one point. My wife found me a pair that I couldn't find at nowhere. There was the ones he wore at the All-Star game in New Orleans, and I think it was like 2014, and they're called the Gumbos because they was in New Orleans.
Well, duh, yeah, man.
So they had the gum bottom.
Shout out Irvin.
Yeah, and the bottom actually glows in the dark. Like, when I go in there in the dark, when the closets, the lights off in there, you can see those shoes lighting up in there. Like, the green bottom. I don't wear them much, but yeah, that's one of my favorite pair.
Talk about, shortly after passing, you probably went in there, saw the shoes glowing, huh? Hit you right in the heart.
Bro, that was a tragic thing. I mean, it took me a while to get back, to start playing again or even podcasting, man. It was just really difficult.
Rough, man.
Man.
I get it, man. It was tough. It's tough, and I can only imagine with the influence he had and how big of a fan you are and everything. But
it's almost like I lost a distant relative or something, like, because he's been a part of a lot of different debates. I've talked about him countless times, about people, the haters, the people that kind of like bandwagon on the Lakers when they was doing good, but nobody was there when they was doing really bad. Even right now, like, you see a lot of new people coming over, but if anybody knows me, anybody goes back to the history, I've been rocking with the Lakers for over 20 something years. I'm talking about back when they had like nothing. They was drafting players. They just wasn't panning out. Nothing was sticking. Nothing was successful. They went through that whole year, those years. I think it was like 9 different seasons where we didn't do nothing. And then we finally got LeBron, and we still missed the playoffs that first year with LeBron. And it's like, man, we got LeBron, we got to do something. So then they traded away to get AD. The first year we got AD, they cut the season short, but we end up winning the championship, and they want to discount that just because the season was short. But I think, and I've had a whole show about this. If anybody want to go back and look at it, I don't get too far into it, but that was the most difficult season that I've ever seen, just because you have the suspension of the season where everybody had to stop play for about 4 or 5 months. Then you restarted back in a remote location with no fans. That's difficult because you got these athletes that are used to having people in the stands cheering them on. You hit a shot, you hear the crowd go wild. That ignites a lot of players. Think about a player like LeBron James. From the time he could dribble a basketball, he's had a crowd of people wanting to see him play. And for him to go out there where it's quiet, they got the fake noise and the fake clapping and the digital people around. That's weird. So for them to mentally tough that out, to hoist the Larry O'Brien trophy, tie up the Boston Celtics, win the same year that we lost Kobe, that was the most difficult NBA season, the most difficult feat that I have ever seen a basketball team construct together, put together, and actually overcome all those obstacles in one season. They had to do it. There was no choice. They had to be champions. After losing Kobe, after losing, half of the season, after he was riding high, they had to do it. And they pulled it off, and there is no asterisk by their championship. They earned it. If they don't win another championship after that, okay, fine. They got another one. I'm good with that. LeBron is good with me, and he's a Laker, regardless of what he do anywhere else.
He wasn't all that great with you before, but
he wasn't, because he wasn't doing it for us. He's done it for us now, so we're good. So man, so we're gonna wrap up, man. So final thoughts.
All right. I guess we could do some crazy predictions in the NFL games coming up. I'm gonna shoot you a couple of the games. You're gonna tell me who you think's winning it. All right.
I'm ready.
Let's do it. All right. We got to start this off. The Falcons and the Cowboys. What's going on, man?
Falcons and Cowboys. Man, let's see. Obviously, I'm gonna go for the Cowboys with the win. The Falcons are coming in with the 24th ranked offense and the 10th ranked defense. We're gonna score the ball. I'm gonna go 27. Let's say 27-31. Cowboys.
All right. Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna hit you with the Bills and the Jets. Who you got?
The Bills and the Jets.
And it's crazy how I have to ask that, but I mean, given the Bills' last 2 weeks,
I don't know. Mike White is gonna go ahead and get the start. It's
Oh man, his memes, man, have been cracking me up all week. His memes. Oh god, that guy's a character. I mean, I guess you got to have that confidence, right? And then the Zach Wilson memes in the locker room after hearing the players chant Mike White. Oh, that's tough.
Yeah. I actually think this game is going to be a low scoring game again. But I got the Bills winning. They have to win. Like seriously, they can't get beat by the Jags and the Jets in back-to-back weeks. I do think that the Jets are gonna hang around for a little bit. So I'm probably gonna go with 9-17.
– 9-17.
Bills.
Okay. All right, I got two more for you. The Seahawks and the Packers.
Seahawks and Packers.
Yeah, which quarterback making their way back balling? Who's balling out this game?
Of both quarterbacks. I'm obviously I can't go wrong with Aaron Rodgers, even though he is cheek for what he did.
Yeah. He booty cheeks. Yep.
I'm definitely gonna go with the Packers in this one, just because I think that they have the better team. They have the better ranked offense. They also have a pretty decent defense now. Like there's people sleeping on their defense, so the defense is actually doing pretty well. And so I'm going to go with 21 and 21-17. Packers.
Close game. So Rodgers wins the game on a walk off or what?
Yeah, it's gonna be a walk off to Devontae. And that
Walk off to Devontae.
in that corner in the red zone.
In the fade. They're gonna run the fade. Oh god.
Your favorite play.
Oh no. And, all right, last one. The Chiefs and the Raiders. Sunday night.
Oh man. Chiefs and Raiders. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Man. You making it tough on me too. That's gonna be a decent game. Both of them have almost the same record. I believe the Raiders have the better, but they dealing with a lot right now in Las Vegas, man. We didn't even really get into, what's been going on with them, man. But I think this is gonna be a shootout, though. I think it's gonna be a shootout. The last meeting they had was a shootout. It was actually pretty good.
So you're predicting that the Chiefs get their offense back this game, is what I'm hearing. If it's going to be a shootout, that means the Chiefs' offense got to make a stop.
Actually, I think the Raiders are going to win.
So no shootout.
It's going to be a shootout, but I'm going to go with the Raiders 31-28.
Okay. That's a medium shootout, I guess.
Yeah.
In today's league standards.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be a close ball game. I mean, I really do, but I think the Raiders are gonna win. I don't know why the Chiefs' defense are not that good.
No, the Chiefs' defense isn't that great, but this last couple of weeks they've actually turned it around, and now it's got people thinking that now it's the offense that's more of the problem than the defense. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's tough, man. Like I said before, like I don't want to get right back into it, but it's tough to see a team that was just dominating the way that they were just kind of go ahead and disappear for whatever reason. And I mean, for me, the only reason this game has a big impact is because if the Chiefs don't find themselves in this game, they're losing to the Cowboys as well. So, and that's big because I'm going to be there. So that's going to be rough. If you know,
going to the game,
I got tickets to go see them in Kansas City.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Let me know how it goes, man.
I will, man. I will. But I'm telling you, I'm going to hopefully get Mahomes back. But oh man, but if Mahomes isn't back, then I mean, at the end of the day, the Cowboys are kind of my second team. So
you're gonna have to start rooting for the Cowboys, man. Take that Saints stuff off.
Nah, I can't do all that. But I mean, I grew up, man. I was named after Michael Irvin, right? Let's just throw that out there so the early fans.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's where your name came from.
That's where my name came from. My family, and I feel really bad for my dad for this, right? But like, yeah, my family's huge Dallas Cowboys fans. My brother, who's watching this, is gonna eat this shit up, and he's gonna talk to me about it later. But yeah, man. After Michael Irvin, and I ended up being a Saints fan. Crazy, right?
That is ridiculously crazy. I would have definitely put you up for adoption.
It's because, man, when I was coming up and I was trying to watch football with the Cowboys, I don't know. It just never really clicked. And then one day, really how my whole football thing started was one day when it wasn't even like the Cowboys weren't playing at the time. I think I was sick and I was laying in bed. And I turned the TV on to see what was up. Saints were playing.
The Aints?
The Saints were playing.
The Aints.
The Saints. The Saints. Put some respect on us. We did beat you last time we played.
What was that score? Like 6?
Oh, it was bad. It was like 13-10 or something like that. It was a field goal game. A field goal. Hey, man.
Bridgewater.
Hey, man, that dub is a dub, man. I'll take that dub all day. But
man, that sucked.
Yeah, no, man. I'm sorry, but yeah. And so, and it's gonna stink even more because it's gonna be kind of bittersweet later whenever we play each other this season, because
Yeah.
it's gonna suck. Because let's say that you guys win and you guys are on a hot streak and that the Cardinals lose, I would hate to be the team that you guys go to and catch the L from. I don't know. I'm kind of torn because I'm like, the Saints are really gonna. I don't think the Saints are doing much this year. I think this year it's just not gonna happen. Injuries and obviously the quarterback situation is not getting any better. So
Yeah, Trevor Siemian ain't scaring nobody.
No, he's not. But Sean Payton can put up a bunch of smoke screens and shit to try to pretend like he is scaring somebody. But we lost Kamara in the backfield this week, so I don't know how we're taking on the Titans. Yeah, he's out. So,
bro, y'all not looking good, but y'all defense is good though.
Oh yeah, we're the only one that scares Brady, man. Don't worry.
Yeah.
The Mario ain't taking it easy on Brady at all.
I mean,
he's
I don't
going
know.
for his head.
No Drew Brees, and they still get the win with Trevor Siemian against the GOAT.
I know, crazy, right?
Yeah,
it's his biggest kryptonite, man. It's his biggest kryptonite.
Sean Payton
just knows, man. He just knows. Yeah. He just knows Brady somehow. And I hate to say it, I dog Mike Evans so much, but Marshawn Lattimore owns him. He owns Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Like, somebody needs to go pull up the stats of Mike Evans' performances versus Marshawn. Yeah, he had the big touchdown this last game. Look how many games it took him to make that catch.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they definitely have their number.
Oh yeah.
Irvin, it's been a pleasure, man. Like, it's been a great show today. I'm really looking forward to more shows. Just, thinking about how, good, everything's been, since the last show and how everything's going this show. I think that we're providing some pretty decent content for the listeners.
Yeah, guys, and I'm with you, Corey, man, and I can't wait to get better and hopefully drag stuff out a little bit less. Guys, I'm still learning. I'm paying attention. I'm listening to my stuff back. I want to be better, and hopefully you guys just bear with us, and I think this could be something really, really awesome. So.
Absolutely, man. So we're going to be back on again. Man, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast with Corey and Irvin. Like, subscribe. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and just make sure y'all smash that like button. Support the show because we're steady growing.
See you guys. Take it easy. Be safe.
If you love the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast, we'd love for you to subscribe, rate, and give a review on iTunes. Until next time.